This film has a lot going for it. It stars Simu Liu from Kim's Convenience, and alongside him we have Aquafina in this quirky duo of sorts, and a film that introduces a new fighting style that really hasn't been explored in the MCU yet. As mentioned in the title of the movie, this will explore the legend of the Ten Rings, which can only mean one thing: Mandarin. No, not the onion ring eating, soccer loving Mandarin.
Don't hurt the face, I'm an actor.
What's up everybody, welcome back to the Hez Project. I'm John Ortalaza, and today I'm going to be reviewing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, a Marvel Studios film that came out back in September, so there will be some spoilers in case you haven't seen it yet. I know it's still relatively new, so click off the video, go watch it, it's on Disney Plus, and then come back here because I'm going to talk a little bit of the spoilery. I initially fell asleep in the theater when I first saw it opening night, and then I watched it again about a month ago, fell asleep again. Nothing against the movie, I was just legit tired those first two times I watched it. I was able to sit down, enjoy from start to finish, and I gotta say, this is a very fun, entertaining MCU movie and a great origin story. I was thinking that they weren't gonna be able to pull off more origin stories this late in the game. Like, of course you could because you have so many other characters that haven't been introduced to the MCU yet, but you know, we got the ball rolling with Endgame, like we just want that, like that's what our brains want, but of course they need to dial it down a little bit, of course. So many people died in Endgame, so many people have moved on and are now doing their own things in different parts of the universe. Like, where the hell is Captain Marvel? Not that I really care to see her right now, but like, where is she though? But nonetheless, Simu Liu is here as the character of Shang-Chi, and I believe that's how it's pronounced. I know we were saying Shang-Chi a lot, but I think it's pronounced that way, and I want to say it correctly. Shang-Chi in this movie is freaking awesome. Like, I like him in this movie, and Simu Liu is such a great actor. I think he pulls off this role very well. I loved him in Kim's Convenience, and I was a little like concerned, like, oh, is he gonna mesh well with the Marvel stuff? And he does, dude. He does. He really does. He fits right in there. He brings that charm of Jung from Kim's Convenience, but he's got a badass style to him. Like, he knows how to fight, dude, and he introduces this fighting style that we really haven't explored. Maybe some people in the MCU have been able to fight like this. I can't think right off the top of my head, but a whole movie dedicated to this really dope kung fu-like style of fighting, I loved it. It was really cool. I've heard a lot of people make comparisons to The Raid, and even some people saying that it's better than The Raid, or it's as good as The Raid. I don't personally see that. The Raid has this visceral feel to it, and it feels like every time you're showing on-screen fighting, it feels like you are the camera and you're in the room and you're like, you're not allowed to leave until these guys are stopped fighting. That's how it feels to me. It's so raw and it's so in your face. Shang-Chi, it's just as exciting as the Raid fighting, but it's spectacle, you know? It's got an MCU flair to what the Raid has. Everyone in the Raid felt like they were fighting for their lives, and Shang-Chi, it's spectacle to me, and I love it though. It's really cool and really awesome. I love to see all of that. It brings some variety to the superhero genre, something that we just haven't seen in the MCU. A whole movie dedicated to this type of fighting, and of course you get some dragons and whatnot later on, but still, like, this was very entertaining to look at. And I want to give props to Aquafina real quick. I initially was really turned off by some of her performances in some movies, and I just mean really from SNL, and there was a movie I saw before Crazy Rich Asians, because I actually liked her in that movie, and I surprisingly liked her in this one. She's toned down than what normal Aquafina is. Like, I found her genuinely annoying, almost borderline as annoying as like maybe someone like Leslie Jones, like just so loud and in your face. I don't like that kind of performance for everything that you do, but in here, this is the most different I've ever seen Aquafina. She's dramatic at times, she's funny when she needs to be, and she does make me laugh quite a bit in this movie. So I like that she did something different in a Marvel movie where she could have easily been normal Aquafina, but nope, she pulled it off, she did what she needed to do, and I liked it. I wanted to see more of her, actually. I like the bond between Katie and Shang in this movie. It's not romantic, and they could have easily went down that route because, oh, male, female, kiss. They could have easily done that, but they didn't, and I appreciate them for doing that because they don't need to. I can appreciate when a superhero movie goes from start to finish without having a love interest. That's fine by me. I'm not opposed to having love interests in those types of movies, but sometimes they do them right, sometimes they don't, and it doesn't need to be there all the time. It's not part of the formula. The Mandarin in this film, the real Mandarin, played by Tony Leung, and I'm sorry if I don't say the name correctly, I loved him in the movie. I thought he was really good as the villain, as the father figure as well. The movie does not lose sight of him being the father of Shang-Chi and Xialing, I believe her name is pronounced, I'm sorry if I didn't say it correctly. He hears a voice of his dead wife, and he believes that she is still alive in this other realm, and they're telling him, no, you're wrong, you're just gonna unleash this beast. This beast is tricking you. And of course, that ends up being true, but he's blindsided by the love. And this movie does set up that love story very well. I love that. The movie opened up with this introduction of the Mandarin and the 10 rings, not really showing exactly where they came from or how he got them. He just like came into possession of them, and he takes over and whatnot for like hundreds and hundreds of years. And then he meets this woman in the woods, and she's like this airbender, earthbender. I don't know, dude. It's pretty dope. They have a really cool back and forth action scene. He's using the 10 rings. She's using her bending, and she actually bests him in this scene. I was like really surprised. This was a really cool opener, so stylistic. I love the way it was shot, man. Deviating from that love story real quick, the cinematography throughout the entire film was freaking awesome. The colors just pop, man, and it's such a vibrant film. And it's not overdone, man. I think it's all beautiful, and it just makes for a really great looking film. I love that with the opener of the film, and once we get introduced to adult Shang-Chi, there's already this tension and dilemma built in between him and his father, and that's the core of the movie for me. Of course, it's a Marvel movie. We gotta give it a booster shot of humor. Aquafina's there. She got some parts to it. She's not exactly the comic relief, though she is very funny in the movie. They bring back Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery, the fake Mandarin, and that was interesting. I was into all of his scenes. He did make me laugh, man, but it was just awkward that he stuck around when the battle was beginning. Like, that was kind of weird to me. He wasn't doing much in that third act, but he was there. The camera showed him, like, front and center and whatnot, but I really enjoyed Ben Kingsley in this role. I love that they're kind of going with it. Now that we got the real Mandarin going, they still bring him around. That was really funny. He had some of the funniest lines in here. That whole spiel about how Planet of the Apes got him into acting because he thought the apes were really riding horses. I think I'd heard somewhere on a video on YouTube that the 10 rings were kind of depowered in this movie. Like, I think they're as powerful as the Infinity Stones, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure. Don't take my word for it, but I think that's what I heard. But I still loved how they were using this movie, dude. When Shang-Chi's riding the Great Protector, fighting this demonic dragon, and he's like throwing the rings so he can like jump on them. Similar to how in Infinity War, when Doctor Strange is putting those platforms out, the magic platforms for Star-Lord to jump on. It's the same thing, only they're like tiny little rings that Shang-Chi's running on. I'm like, that was pretty dope. There's so much creativity that they could do with the rings, and I hope that they continue doing that. I loved it. I want to see more of the 10 rings. I want to see more of Shang-Chi. I didn't care too much about the 10 rings, if you know what I'm saying. The end credit scene shows Xialing taking over the 10 rings organization, you know, Mandarin's army, and I don't care about that. They said the 10 rings will return, so that implies maybe they'll return outside of Shang-Chi too. I'm really not into that. like Xialing is a cool character, don't get me wrong. She's fine in the movie, great actress, but I don't really care to see her leading the 10 rings in its own separate project. They looked so disinteresting to me. They looked very generic, wearing all black, and they had like this plastic looking torso armor. It just looked crappy, and they were like fighting with candy canes. Like, what? I love the cameos and the Easter eggs that we get throughout the entire movie. There's this MMA underground style fighting cage with a bunch of people like betting on each other, and Wong is there fighting Abomination from the Incredible Hulk from 2008. Like, that's great. I think my favorite cameo in this film has got to go to the one guy on the bus who started recording Shang-Chi going at it with everyone. That was funny as hell, dude. He's the guy who screamed at Spider-Man in Homecoming, said, "Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip!" By the way, that dude was in No Way Home. He was in the crowd when Peter was going into school after everyone found out he was Peter, and he just screamed, "Do a flip. I think the special effects are top notch in here. Like the Marvel style really pops in this movie. And dude, I want to talk about that one bus scene. That's probably one of my favorite MCU fight sequences now. I loved it, man. It's so creative, it's so wacky, and it's just awesome, dude. One thing though, the one guy, I don't know his name, but the one guy who has the giant machete for a hand, he's so dull to me. Like, dude, he's such a big dude and all he does is swing around that stupid machete. Like, dude, you're big, man. You could take him down. You got 3 other limbs. Stop using the one that got cut off. Stop using your little knife. Like, punch him with the other hand. Even in the 3rd act, he gets another sword. So he's just using his hand sword and another sword. Like, ah. Oh my god, and I had to talk about the score real quick. I just looked up the guy's name, Joel P. West. Great score. I loved it. That music swelling up when freaking Shang-Chi is defeating that evil demonic dragon at the end. Oh my god, dude. That music, that theme is so impactful, so heroic. I was so pumped up to hear it. Every time I heard it, man, it was just, oh my god. Oh my god. The ending of the film, Wong comes through a portal and tells Shang-Chi and Katie that, look, we need those rings, so come with me. That leads into the first mid-credits scene. We get Wong talking to a hologram of Captain Marvel and Bruce. They're just talking about the rings and like, how old are they? When did you say your father got them? He was like 1,000 years ago or something. And he said, well, they're much older than that. I love the mystery. I want to dive into it more, but it seems like we're going to be like a year or 2 away before we get immediate answers to a lot of these post-credit scenes. Like, not all of these are going to pay off right away, so we got to be a little patient. Overall, I will say Shang-Chi is up there amongst the better MCU Phase 4 projects. I'd put it up there right next to like Eternals, because I really liked Eternals. Black Widow, not so much. Spider-Man's up there, dude. Spider-Man's up there. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Shang-Chi 2 and seeing what they do with that. But I'd also like to see Shang-Chi interact with other heroes because he's a really good character. And like I said, Simu Liu pulls off that role of the hero. Now he's got the 10 rings. Now we get to see a full-powered Shang-Chi, unless there's like this extra power in the comics that he hasn't unlocked yet and I don't know about. But he's got the 10 rings. So that's enough for me to be intrigued for Shang-Chi 2. Let me know down below, what did you think of Shang-Chi? Have you ever seen it yet? Have you gotten a chance to check it out? Let me know down below. They just released an IMAX enhanced version of it on Disney+. Though, unfortunately, the 4K disc doesn't have the IMAX version. It's just crisper. So what would you prefer? A crisper quality film with the black bars with the ratio, or do you want the full picture with less of the crispness? Because, you know, it's streaming. 4K streaming is not going to compare to the actual physical disc with all of that data going on it. Anyways, let me know down below, what did you think of the film? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel for new guys, and be sure to stick around to the end of the week because I will be putting out a Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler talk, as well as reviews for The Kingsman and The Matrix Resurrections. It's a pretty stacked week. We also got the finale of Hawkeye Season 1. It's gonna be juicy. So there's a lot of content, a lot of Marvel content coming to the channel, so you might want to stick around because there is more to come.